Hello folks, it's been a while since my last upload in regards to my Fold 3. So basically since the last time I made a video, I was complaining about Samsung customer service, and I was also telling you guys about my experience with the front screen not working. So the front screen started working again. So there's definitely something going on here. Don't know if it's software or hardware. Maybe something got knocked around inside. Who knows? But I just wanted to say, since I have had this phone since the time of pre-order, it's really grown on me. I came from an iPhone 12 Pro Max as my main phone. I always carried two phones with me. I always had a main phone and a not so main phone. And it was always one Apple and one Android of some sort, just to mix things up. So since my son, who is 10 years old, has an Apple iPhone, it was just easier just to dive into the whole ecosystem, you know, with iMessage, FaceTime, yada, yada, yada. So, and also keeping track of him is a lot easier when you're on the Apple ecosystem. Not to say that it can't be done with Android, but there's more steps. You got to download different apps, yada, yada, yada. On Apple, on iOS, it's a lot easier. Where's my pen? So, since getting this phone, I find it hard to go back to a regular phone. And it's just, you know, when I open things up on a regular phone, you know, trying to zoom in to look at text and read certain articles or looking at pictures, you can't beat this. You know, the front screen to me here is pretty useless. I use it if I happen to be one-handed, maybe just to read a quick text. If I'm responding to a text, I will, you know, sometimes swipe on the keyboard here. And it gets me by for like one or two quick messages, but I can't use it for more than one or two quick messages before I end up opening the phone. So what else did I want to talk about? So there's just using the phone has gotten so much easier for me. Oh, one of the deal breakers on this phone that almost had me sending it back. And it wasn't that the front screen stopped working, it was the keyboard. The Samsung keyboard on this phone does not do this phone justice. It was a lot of, mistakes being made on the phone, even though you can size it and you can move it and you can do all this stuff on the Samsung keyboard, but it just wasn't accurate. And I, for a long time, I thought it was me. And then I started using the Gboard, and the Gboard makes such a huge difference. It does. It just makes such a difference with the way that, you know, the accuracy of your typing. Let me see if I can pull up a message here. I'll just create a text. 1, 2, 3, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So this is the inside. I mean, that's the outside board. Here's here. So when I'm here, this is the Gboard here. I'm so much more accurate on this. It's not even funny. So I thought it was just me. A friend of mine also has the same, you know, he's got a Fold 3, and I was telling him about it, and he was saying that when he was using the phone with the Samsung keyboard, that he would have anxiety, you know, like it was almost to the point where he did not enjoy typing on the phone. I suggested he use this. He has the same sentiment as I do, that it is so much better to type on, right? So that's that. Of course, yes, another gripe of mine is the cameras. The cameras are blah. The cameras took a step back 3 or 4 years. They're kind of grainy if the light isn't right, but nothing you guys haven't heard before. Deal breaker with the cameras? No, not really, because I'm not trying to take professional shots. I do have an iPhone 12 Pro Max if I need clearer shots. Not a big deal. By the way, this is being recorded on a 12 Pro Max, so it's on a cheap little stand. So if you see it swaying back and forth, it's because I have a cheap little tripod on, you know. But anyway, so one of the things I wanted to talk about also is the watches. Okay, so on this hand, on my left, is a Galaxy 4 Classic. And on my right is the Gear S3. The Gear S3, out of the two, I like better because it feels like a more manly watch. It just, you know, it's heavier, it's thicker, you know, from here to here, it's thicker. And they're both supposed to be 46 millimeter, but you know what? The Gear S3 watch face looks a little bit bigger, but they're both supposed to be 46 millimeters. So I didn't really understand that. Yes, you know, they went a little thinner with the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic. It's thinner from here to here, but you gave up some battery to get that thinness, and I wasn't cool with that. Second of all, like everybody else says, I'll take the watches off so you can see. Look at this. Look at the way this bows out, right? Everybody else has complained about this as well. This bows out and it doesn't come straight down. So even when I pull on it, look, when you're putting on the watch, it's a pain in the ass because, you know, the band keeps bowing out, and it's a little hard to get a hold of at first when you're not used to it. This part here, like when you're trying to do this with one hand, you know, the band keeps bowing out. So this is the Gear S3. I love this watch, right? So it's heavier. It feels like a more manly watch here. So look, I'll put them side by side. All right, look how much difference there is in thickness here, okay? And that's at the expense of mainly of battery. Here's the sensors on the bottom. Let me wipe it off. Sensors on the bottom here. So if I was so happy with the Gear S3, why did I go to the Watch 4 Classic? Well, as I was using the Gear S3, the battery life just wasn't cutting it. It felt like it was getting shorter and shorter by the day. Now, mind you, I hadn't used it in about 2.5 to 3 years. It was sitting on a charger all that time. Then I took it off the charger, and then I just recently put it back on when I got this, when I got the Fold 3. So after I got the Fold 3, I put it back in the charger. I started using it again, and I was like, wow, I really kind of miss, using an Android watch. You know, I had been using the Apple Watch for so long. But as I was using it day in and day out, the battery life kept getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And then it was starting to lag, right? So this is what I realized with older devices. Obviously, they're not supported with the new software. So, you know, things start to take a little bit longer to keep up with the new standards and whatnot. So out of frustration, I went out and got this. Now, I wouldn't have gotten this so fast, but I was looking through some old emails and I found a Best Buy gift card somebody gave me like a year and a half ago for $150. So I used that gift card. Plus I had some Best Buy points that I didn't realize that I had. The Best Buy points were like $50. This was $150. So I ended up paying maybe a little over, maybe at around $200 and change for this watch. So it was the $150, and I think it was like maybe $30 in Best Buy rewards. I don't know, something like that. So it was a big discount. So I said, you know what, let me get this watch. So after I had this watch for the first week or so, it was cool. And then, you know, I never really looked at the battery life. Then I started looking at it before I was going to bed, and it was like down to like 10 or 15% after one day. And I was like, whoa, what the hell's going on? Started looking at, you know, different people's reviews, written reviews, not videos, on the internet, and people were also complaining about the battery life of the new Galaxy Watch 4 Classic. And one of the things that they were saying is that it's all the new activity features that were running in the background killing the phone. So at the time, each day I was getting like shorter and shorter battery life. First, I was going to bed with 15-20%, and then it was like 15 to 20%, you know, like to the point where I was getting the warning at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, you know, not even pushing like midnight. So that I got really frustrated. So I went online and I found out all the things that I should turn off. So basically I turned off all the fitness stuff. I don't need to count my steps. I'm not in any competitions about closing rings and doing this, that, and the other thing. I'm not into all that. So I turned all that off and it worked. So now this watch has been off of the charger since about 7 o'clock this morning. And right now I have 85%. It is 10 to 4 in the afternoon. Really, really good. I just took this off the charger a few minutes ago. This is, let me put in my pin. this is, where am I here? At 96%, and I've had it off the charger maybe 20 minutes or so. You know, I just took it off before I did this video. So I'm going to maybe tomorrow, being that I've turned off all the fitness stuff on here, see if it helps with the lag that I was experiencing, and see if it helps with, you know, general overall battery life, because I'd rather be wearing this watch. The band, look at the band, look how much more substantial it is here, you know. And from what I understand, you can't use this band on here because it's shaped differently, and like this one has more of a curve in here, and this one is a little bit more, well, I guess less curved, or at least it appears to be. But this band feels like a real band. Like this band that they gave you on the Watch 4, it's like flimsy, and it just feels fake. It feels like a, you know, a cheap knockoff, but this feels like a substantial, you know, watch band. You know, like this is something I would go out of my way to buy for another watch, this band that came on here. Again, you know, the heftiness, you know, this bezel feels, it feels okay. This one feels, I mean, the clicks feel about the same, but you see that this one is knurled and it's raised up. I'll get this out of the way. Get this knurled and it's raised up a little bit, you know, so you have some grip on here. This is, you got these tiny little knurls like you would find on the side of a coin, and you're not really grabbing them so much, okay? Other than that, there's not as many watch faces on for this yet. Well, it's kind of obvious that this watch has an older interface, and so I guess, you know, more people were making watch faces for it all these years. This came out in 2016. This one just came out this year. I pulled up some specs here, right? So remember when I was, well, just to give credit, I got these specs from GSM Arena, okay? So when I was saying that this watch face looks bigger than this one, I was correct. For the display, the size on this is 1.4 inches. This is 1.3 inches, okay? So they both advertise at 46 millimeter, but this does have a bigger display by the slightest amount. And you know what? Looking at it really fast, you couldn't tell. But when you really start to look at them, you're kind of like, I don't know, there's something off, you know? And at first I thought it was just a watch face, but this one, you know, that 1 millimeter is really making a difference, okay? So a couple of other differences to take note of. Let me see, which one am I looking at here? Ties in Android Wear. Okay. Do I have this backwards? No, I have. Yep. So it's supposed to be like this. Okay. So this one, this sheet goes with this watch, and this sheet goes with this watch. I'm sorry, I got this confused. So yes, the old watch has only 768, I don't know if you guys can read that, 768 megabytes of RAM, whereas this one has 1.5 gigs of RAM. That right there will keep the watch from lagging, even though you don't need the watch to do much. But you know, for me, I just use it to read my notifications and maybe answer a few texts if I'm at work and I'm not supposed to have my phone out, yada yada yada, plus a whole slew of other upgrades. Of course, it's a 4-year difference, so you would expect these upgrades. But you know, so yes, this watch does run smoother than the Gear S3, but understandably so. I am not happy with that they gave up that thickness for battery life. I really don't like that at all, you know. I like that fact that this watch feels tougher, you know. What else did I want to talk about? So we discussed the watches, we discussed the displays. I want to ask anybody out there if they have any recommendations on a video editing app for Android that is almost like iMovie or has the same features as iMovie. if you have any suggestions, throw it down in the comments below. Let me see, what else did I discover about this phone that, I have to say I'm really happy with the phone. It's replaced my iPhone as my daily, which was a big task because the iPhone just makes everything so convenient. It's dummy proof, but this, I enjoy opening it up and using it in its full display instead of being here. I really don't, I can't use this display for more than looking at a quick text message or something. I just can't use it for more than that. I'm always opening it. I'm looking forward to the next version that comes out to see if it gives S Pen support on the front screen. That will be it. That's really all it needs, from what it has now. And better cameras, of course. Hopefully after a few software updates, they kind of sharpen up the cameras from where it is now using software. It's passable for Instagram and, Facebook, quick pictures and selfies and whatnot. Oh, speaking of selfies, don't even bother using the selfie camera. It's pointless. It's so grainy. But other than that, I'm happy using the phone. Oh, I'm sorry, I found something else. Samsung Music. I might have mentioned this in my other video. I had to download Samsung Music to this phone. I think they wanted to use a YouTube Music on this phone as a default, and that was not a good move. It did not work for me very well. What else? And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna try to find a better calendar widget for me and a better weather widget. So if you guys have any recommendations on calendar and weather widgets, put it in the comments down below. I think we went over the watches, and I think that's pretty much all I wanted to go over today. So if you guys have any suggestions for me or questions about either the watches or the phone, leave it in the comments below. And until next time, have a good night. Bye-bye.